no matter who it is in front of me, but finding mismatches and just trying to go out there and make the reads and make the right play.
Cooper Flagg is simply a perfect fit for today's NBA.
After trading away Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks looked completely cooked. The team had no direction, the vibe was dead, and fans were already checking out mentally. It felt like the front office hit the self-destruct button and the future looked straight up grim. Then Cooper Flagg showed up and flipped the whole story on its head. At just 18 years old, he didn't walk in trying to stay quiet or play it safe. He came in loud, confident, and ready to dominate. From breaking rookie records to forcing the league to pay attention, his energy and consistency turned what looked like a long rebuild into one of the NBA's wildest storylines. Suddenly, Dallas had life again, and it all traces back to Cooper Flagg's unreal rise. The idea that Cooper Flagg might actually save the Dallas Mavericks sounds wild, especially when you remember how ugly things were less than a year ago. Just 10 months earlier, this franchise was in full chaos mode. They weren't just struggling, they were a punchline around the league, and it all started with what many fans still call one of the most confusing trades in NBA history.
I learned a lot in that short period of time, and started the season with a lot of losses and a lot of tough games. I think I learned a lot, in general, but I think just with that, being comfortable and understanding, is a big thing. I hadn't really played point guard before, but it's a lot different than any other position, and you have to, be aware of a lot of other things, and it's just a lot of new stuff if you haven't done it before. So I think I learned a ton just about what it takes to lead a team as a point guard and just to know how to get everybody organized and those sort of things. I think I learned a lot in that short period of time, so I think it was pretty good for me.
Luka wasn't just another star, he was a top 5 player, a finals leader, and someone people openly talked about as a future Hall of Famer. And Dallas sent him away for Anthony Davis, a player deep into his 30s, constantly dealing with injuries, plus a first-round pick that turned into Max Christie. That was it. Fans didn't just feel disappointed, they felt betrayed. It wasn't just about losing a player, they lost hope for the next decade. The backlash was brutal. Team president Nico Harrison instantly became public enemy #1. Fire Nico chants echoed through the arena every single home game until he was finally gone. The franchise looked stuck, buried in a hole way too deep to climb out of. Some fans even said they were done with the team for good, but just when it felt like Dallas had no future at all, everything changed on draft lottery night. Despite barely missing the playoffs, the basketball gods finally showed some love. The ping pong balls bounced their way, landing Dallas the #1 overall pick, and with it came Cooper Flagg, the clear-cut top prospect in the country. Everyone already knew his name. He dominated at Duke and turned heads with Team USA, flashing serious superstar potential. People weren't shy about it either. Many were already calling him the next franchise cornerstone before he even played a single NBA minute. Still, the beginning wasn't smooth at all. Dallas threw him into the lineup as a point guard, completely out of position, and it showed. He looked uncomfortable, hesitant, and out of rhythm. The pressure hit fast, and critics wasted no time jumping in. Some were calling him overrated, while others were openly questioning if he'd even go top 5 in another draft. But that noise didn't last long. A few months later, Cooper Flagg completely flipped the narrative. He started smashing rookie records and putting up numbers nobody saw coming. Then came the night that changed everything. Cooper made history by becoming the first 18-year-old ever to score over 40 points in a single NBA game.
He had a hell of a year at Duke. Can play with the ball, can play without the ball.
I think my left hand is something I've always been comfortable with. Just being comfortable going both ways since I was young. So using that to my advantage, going both ways, being effective in that can really open up the floor and, finding holes and gaps that you want to drive to. So I think it's just, part of the game is just making those reads. Yeah, I don't know. I would say I feel just as comfortable with left and right, going either way, but I feel like people force me less sometimes. I feel like it's just a natural thing for right-handed players to get forced left, but I'm very comfortable going both ways for sure.
Dallas went from lifeless to electric overnight, and suddenly it felt like they had found their new franchise star. Even LeBron James never dropped 40 before turning 19, but Cooper Flagg just did it. The 18-year-old phenom poured in 42 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, dished 6 assists, added a steal and 2 blocks, all while shooting nearly 48% from the field and knocking down a 3. It didn't even matter that Dallas lost the game. Anthony Davis didn't play play. The roster is still shaky, but Cooper was flat out unbelievable. He took over late, hit clutch shots, and showed a mix of power, poise, and confidence you almost never see from someone his age. According to NBA stats, Cooper Flagg is already averaging 18.4 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in about 34 minutes per game. He's shooting 48% from the field, 25% from deep, and 80% from the line. Proof that he's adjusting to the pro level fast. For an 18-year-old rookie, those numbers aren't just good. They're a loud warning to the entire league. Flagg is proving he can do it all. Score, rebound, and create, while playing with poise way beyond his age. He's already building a reputation as one of the most complete prospects in his class, and his recent run has been nothing short of crazy. Over his last 7 games, he's averaging 25.7 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.6 assists, plus a steal and a block, all while shooting just under 55% in about 35 minutes per game. That's not just impressive for a rookie, that's elite production for anyone in the league. And what makes it even wilder is that Cooper Flagg came into the NBA known mostly for his defense. From day one, the talk was that he could become one of the best defenders in the world someday. The big question was always the offense. Could he create his own shot, find a rhythm, and develop a reliable jumper from deep? So far, the answer looks like yes, or at least it's getting there fast. His three-point shot still needs work, no doubt, but everything else is starting to line up. You can see it in his footwork, his body control, and the confidence he plays with. When he puts his head down and gets downhill, things start happening in a hurry. Once Cooper attacks, defenders struggle to slow him down. He's like a magnet pulling himself straight to the rim. Almost every possession ends with him touching the paint, and defenders are left hoping for a strip or a missed finish. Even though his handle is still developing, he's already flashing advanced moves that catch people off guard. You can tell he's studying the game closely, adding small details to his bag week by week. Despite not having a polished handle yet, he's overpowering defenders with strength and precision. He knows how to carve out space, slip through tight lanes, and finish through contact. His floater has a soft touch, and around the rim, he's already comfortable using either hand. Right now, he's already one of the best finishers in the league when it comes to generating paint touches. What's even crazier is that he's doing all of this without a full year of NBA level conditioning. He's still building his body, still learning how to pace himself through a long season, and yet at just 18 years old, he's already pushing grown men around and setting the tone with his energy. Think about what this kid could look like in a few years when he's fully developed and used to the NBA grind. If this is the version we're seeing now, the future version could be a serious problem for the entire league. Cooper Flagg's growth this season has been impossible to miss. Game by game, he's getting stronger, more conditioned, and sharper. From opening night to now, the improvement is obvious. He's learning fast, at a pace that doesn't even seem normal for an 18-year-old. He's picking better shots, reading defenses more calmly, and that mid-range jumper is starting to look smooth inside the arc. He's already comfortable pulling up when defenders give him space. The three-point shot still isn't falling consistently, but the form looks clean and the confidence is there. He even knocked down a pull-up 3 recently that looked effortless. At the free throw line, he's hovering around 80%, which is usually a strong sign that the long-range shot will come with time. Even if he settles into the mid-30s from deep, that's more than enough with how often he gets downhill and finishes through contact. And here's the scary part. Even while struggling from 3, he's still shooting 55% over his last 7 games. That alone shows how dominant he's been inside the paint. Every part of his interior game is clicking. The floater, the left hand finishes, the right hand finishes, all of it. When he attacks, it feels like a freight train heading straight to the rim. Once he gets a step, defenders barely stand a chance. And as he keeps adding counter moves and learning how to read help defense, slowing him down is only going to get tougher. But it's not just the offense that's turning head. His defense is living up to every bit of the hype. That side of the game was supposed to be his calling card coming into the league, and he's picking it up just as fast as the scoring. He's no longer biting on every pump fake. He's staying down, using his length wisely, and keeping his hands out of foul trouble. You can tell he's studying tendencies, learning positioning, and figuring out how to defend without reaching. For a teenager, the way he's adapted to NBA level defense is rare. Most rookies take years to understand rotations, timing, and discipline, but Cooper already looks like a seasoned defender who knows when to rotate, when to contest, and when to stay patient. The mix of size, IQ, and effort he brings every night tonight is what makes him one of the most complete two-way rookies we've seen in a long time. And the wild part is, he's still just getting started. Defense is usually where young players struggle the most, and honestly, that's expected. The jump is brutal. Suddenly, you're guarding the best athletes on the planet, players who know every trick in the book. For most young guys, it's a rude wake-up call, but Cooper Flagg is breaking that rule completely. He's already become a key piece on one of the NBA's top defensive teams this season, and that's not normal for an 18-year-old. The advanced numbers back it up, too. According to B-Ball Index, Flagg's grading profile is eye-opening for a rookie. He holds an A+ in finishing talent, an A in rim shot creation, and another A+ in rim shot making efficiency. Even though his rim shot quality is graded an F, that just means he's not getting easy looks. Yet he's still converting through contact and over defenders. That kind of body control and confidence at this age is rare. His mid-range game tells the same story. He's graded with an A in floater talent, an A+ in mid-range pull-up talent, and strong grades in both mid-range shot creation and efficiency. The wild part is his mid-range shot quality only sits at a C+, meaning the looks aren't ideal, but he's still knocking them down consistently. Across the board, his overall shot quality is rated an F, yet he's producing elite-level efficiency anyway. That says everything about his touch, timing, and ability to create something out of nothing. For a rookie to be this efficient on difficult shots is almost unheard of. That's advanced veteran level skill showing up way ahead of schedule, and the history books are already starting to notice. After tonight's performance, Cooper Flagg officially passed Tracy McGrady for the third most points ever scored by an NBA player before turning 19. The only names still ahead of him, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, two all-time greats. That's not just impressive, that's historic. Being mentioned alongside legends like that this early into a career is mind-blowing. Cooper is already setting records most players only dream about. He's also the first 18-year-old in NBA history to post 3 straight games with 20 or more points. When you stack the numbers, the eye test, and the history together, it's clear this isn't a normal rookie story. Cooper Flagg is already building something special, and the league is starting to realize it. At this point, it's starting to feel normal for Cooper Flagg to drop big numbers every single night. Scoring 20 points has basically become his floor. Against the Nets, he put up 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists. Then it was 19 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and 4 stocks against the Rockets. He followed that with 16 versus the Thunder, 22 against the Heat, and then 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block against the Nuggets. And then came the monster performance. 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists against the Clippers while shooting 59% from the field. The consistency is crazy. For someone still learning the NBA game, Flagg has already turned himself into a machine. He's efficient, confident, and understands how to physically control the flow of the game. One of the most impressive parts of his growth is how he draws contact and lives at the free throw line. That's something most rookies struggle with for years. He doesn't shy away from contact. He absorbs hits, stays balanced, and still finishes strong. Sure, some people might start calling him a free throw merchant, but that's what happens when a young player learns how to punish defenders for bad positioning. He's not flopping or hunting whistles, he's reading angles, initiating smart contact, and forcing defenders to either foul him or give up an easy bucket. Every piece of his offensive game is starting to connect. He's already elite at getting to the rim and finishing through traffic, and once the three-point shot fully comes around, he's going to be a nightmare to guard. Add a tighter handle and a little more muscle, and stopping him becomes a real problem. When you project all of that forward, it's not crazy to think he could average 27 or 28 points per game in a few seasons. And it's not just about scoring anymore. His playmaking is starting to shine too. He's seeing the floor better, hitting cutters, and making the right reads with real patience. His rebounding has stayed consistent, and his defensive instincts are still top tier. It's becoming clear that Flagg isn't just a scorer. He's shaping up to be one of the best two-way players in the league. Calling him a future superstar doesn't even feel bold anymore. Honestly, it feels inevitable within the next 5 years. It's hard to imagine a future where he isn't one of the faces of the NBA. The scary part is how fast he's still improving. Every game you can see him getting smarter, stronger, and more confident in his role. And yet, for some reason, the noise around what he's doing still feels muted. Cooper Flagg is quietly being underhyped. Maybe it's because the Mavericks haven't been great this season. Maybe it's because his dominance looks so effortless that people are taking it for granted. But make no mistake, his impact is real. If he keeps progressing like this, an all-star selection next season wouldn't be surprising at all. That brings up one final issue the Mavericks can't ignore. Dallas has a major decision to make. It's time to seriously consider moving Anthony Davis. He's been injured, the fit hasn't been clean, and it's obvious this is Cooper Flagg's team now. The franchise needs to fully commit to building around their young star, clear the lane for his development, and surround him with pieces that actually fit his rise. Dallas finally has their next generational player. Now the front office has to move smart and build the right future around him. A report today suggested the Mavericks might try to push for short-term wins and get competitive again, but that could be a costly mistake. Right now, the priority shouldn't be chasing a few meaningless victories. It should be about setting Cooper Flagg up for long-term dominance. The priority has to be clear: build the future around Cooper Flagg. There's no room for confusion here. He needs a real co-star because nobody wins in this league by themselves. Even the greatest players ever needed help, and if Dallas doesn't lock in now, they risk wasting a golden opportunity that doesn't come around often. This is the last first-round pick the Mavericks fully control until around 2031, and that matters more than people realize. If they mess this up, they'll be stuck without control of their own future for years. That's why they can't afford to sit in the middle. No half-in, half-out approach. They either commit fully to building around Flagg, or they risk ending up in NBA limbo, too good to tank, but nowhere near good enough to contend. Landing in the late lottery or middle of the first round this year would be a disaster. Cooper needs a running mate, a young star who can grow alongside him, share the workload, keep defenses honest, and help unlock the next level of his game. To make that happen, Dallas has to get serious with their decisions, and it starts with trading Anthony Davis. He's still a big name, but at this stage, he doesn't fit the direction of this team. Dallas should also take a hard look at moving Daniel Gafford and even consider whether PJ Washington fits the long-term plan. This isn't about tearing everything down. It's about shifting the direction. Adding veterans for a short-term playoff push does nothing for the bigger picture. If anything, taking a small step back might be the smartest move. Keep the roster steady or even downgrade slightly to secure a valuable lottery position. This upcoming draft is loaded, and landing another top 10 pick could completely change the Mavericks' future. Pairing Flagg with another elite young prospect is how real contenders are built. That's how you start a dynasty. You find the duo every championship team needs and build outward from there. If Kyrie Irving comes back healthy and Cooper keeps developing at this pace, things could turn fast. There's already a solid young core in place. Ryan Maher looks like a promising piece, and Derek Lively II has serious potential. If he stays healthy, the foundation is there. It just needs that extra spark. That's why the next move matters so much. Trading Anthony Davis could bring back valuable young players or draft capital that extends the team's window. It would also give Dallas the flexibility to fully commit to Flagg as the centerpiece. With the right deal, they could walk away with cap space, assets, and another key piece for the future. What they can't do is pretend they're one hot stretch away from real playoff contention. They're not there yet, and forcing it would only slow everything down. This team needs to think bigger and play the long game. Let Cooper grow, let him make mistakes, let him lead and dominate. Most importantly, give him a star partner so he doesn't spend the early years of his career trying to do everything alone. If Dallas plays this right, next season could feature Cooper Flagg alongside another rising star, supported by young role players who actually fit around them. That's a team with real upside, but if they chase short-term wins now, they risk ending up stuck in mediocrity. No picks, no flexibility, and a frustrated franchise player. The path is clear. Trade Anthony Davis, reset smart, and get Cooper Flagg his co-star. This is the window, and Dallas can't afford to blow it. So what do you think about Cooper Flagg and what he's been doing so far this season? Because honestly, this has been one of the wildest rookie runs we've seen in a long time. The Mavericks might not be stacking wins right now, but watching Cooper night after night feels like watching a future superstar being built in real time. And I already know what some people are going to say. Isn't Kyrie Irving supposed to be his co-star? And yeah, for now, Kyrie can fill that role. He's still one of the most skilled guards the league has ever seen, and when he's healthy, he's electric. But when you zoom out and look long term, that's where things get complicated. Kyrie is coming off a serious injury, and expecting him to be Cooper's running mate for the next decade just isn't realistic. What Dallas really needs is a younger, long-term partner, someone who can grow alongside Flagg, push him, and help form that 1-2 punch that defines a franchise for years. And that's really what this whole conversation comes down to. Cooper has already shown he can handle pressure, carry an offense, defend at a high level, and lead, all before even turning 19. That's rare. But if Dallas wants to turn his potential into championships, they have to find him that reliable co-star at the right time. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think of Cooper Flagg's rookie season so far? Has he impressed you as much as people are saying? Or do you think there are still parts of his game he needs to sharpen up? And what about his ceiling? Could he end up as a top 10 player in the league someday? Maybe even top 5 or the best in the world? And one more question. When do you think he makes his first All-Star appearance? Next year, or a little further down the road? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, share it with other NBA fans, and subscribe to BallScope for more deep dives and NBA stories. Your support really helps the channel grow, and there's another video already waiting for you. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.